Hello, it's meow time for KittenouSBeast gaming videos for cats and their people. KatzeLande Prime, episode 34. Um, so last time we kind of took some beatings. We did retool our cooling system for that volcano, but unfortunately it's just not a terribly efficient system. Um, so having taken a break and given it a little bit of thought, I've I'm thinking of a way that we might be able to fix it, make it a little bit more operable, um, and actually start leaning into some of the late game mechanics that we should really concentrate on. So we're going to try and do some fixing and repairing in the game at this particular point and see if we can solve some of the problems that are going on. So let's take a look at what exactly the issues presently are. So one of the big issues here is heat. So we're starting to see a buildup of heat in this area, particularly because of this hot water here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and um, allow those two reservoirs to connect. This will immediately allow me to cool the system down and restore operation to my metal refinery. Um, I don't really want to rebuild all this stuff. It's kind of fine where it is. I just need to get the temperatures under control here. So first thing I'm going to do is allow myself to be able to build my refinery so I can make some progress on some materials. Now, my plan for this chamber here for the volcano system is changing. I'm no longer going to use this as a steam turbine operation system. I'm actually going to use this as a coolant containment system. So um, I'll actually chill down the contents of this tank so it's relatively cold, and then I will actually use the passive hydrogen loops that I'm planning on using, but with this coolant tank acting as the balance on the temperature changes. So it shouldn't actually ever really turn to steam or boil because I'll be actively cooling this water and circulating it out if it reaches a certain temperature using this thermal sensor here. So, or I might even move it down. So I'm going to just repurpose this room that I've built and the system to just work better. I thought that this would generate steam fairly quickly. It's not. And so the better play right now is to really cool this water here down. Um, I mean, I did transfer a significant amount of heat into the water, so that's working. But what I want to do is just cool the water down so that we can cool these volcanoes using the hydrogen loops I've made, and maybe some other method, which I'm considering might be really helpful. So we might apply two cooling techniques on each volcano. One, the hydrogen loop with the gas in it, and then maybe some other cooling method, which I'm trying to consider right now. So we'll see how that goes. Um, this is idle. I can jump in here and make some quick tweaks. So one thing I'm going to do is remove that tile there. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and pin this a little bit with some additional tiles. Okay, so since this is now going to be a coolant tank, I also need a way of getting that coolant tank filled up. So I'll just connect to the system I had over here. And again, this is going to be uh, not super, it's pretty warm, 54 degrees. So it's going to be kind of hot water. That's fine. I'm going to cool that whole tank down That's the plan. Alright, so I've now popped the tile there. So this water tank is now going to reduce the temperature significantly. It's also pushed away the regular water a little bit. So I should now be getting a pretty solid stream of just polluted water. One of the problems, or the reason why this thing was malfunctioning, was because it has some water in it. So what I'm going to do to sort of reset the system is just deconstruct and reconstruct the building. And that should just help me reinitialize the contents a little bit. So there I'll, rebuild the refinement system. Again, I'm using igneous rock or whatever, so I'll just put that right back where it was. And we're hoping that we'll be able to... there's still some water in there, so maybe I can use a plumbing errand. No, it's probably too late. We may see steam again, unfortunately. Or actually, you know what? Now I'll just deconstruct it again. Now that'll be clear the water completely. That water was the thing that was the problem. The water was boiling and causing all kinds of problems. So we'll go ahead and plug in this into the system. We're getting some idleness, so we're gonna let this kind of fill up here. Alright, and now's the time to sort of talk about where's my primary boiling system going to be. So the reason why I've sort of recycled this really quickly is I need to get this back in operation, so I need some more steel. I'm going to need a lot more steel, so I needed to get this thing back online with a coolant recharge quickly, because in order for me to deal with this heat properly, I do want to develop a system that will boil water, and this will run that steam turbine I was building. But this just isn't the right spot for that. So I'm gonna, repurpose this and attempt to rebuild that system in a better place. While I'm kind of over here, I was thinking to myself, I could very easily make additional plug slug farms. I've got loads of these plug slug eggs, 7. I could set up another chamber of these slug plugs, and I could even put it over here. I mean, it doesn't generate heat or anything. And these things are, what's their, I wonder what their properties are with the, what they like or whatever. I have to look at their database entry maybe. Yeah, so their comfort range is 10 to 20, but they can live in up to 70 degrees of heat. So, and this is just some mild heat over here. Hardly, and there's some cooling going on. So, I could totally build a little enclosure over here for some more plug slugs. And I already got the heavy watt wire, I might as well do it, right? So I'm gonna rebuild that. Along the way, I am gonna tear down the sublimation station. I don't think I really need this. I'm kind of leaning on the rusty oxidizer anyway, so I'm gonna tear that out. And kind of frame up my plug slug stuff a little bit. I'm gonna sort of use some solid tiles here to start the building. I'm not even gonna skip a beat about just cutting through these ladders here and putting in pneumatic doors. I'm not gonna get too close, you know, just kind of keeping an eye out here, you know, like, oh, I need a pretty generous amount of space here, so I'm gonna kind of cut this short. Uh, so that I'm not going to interfere with that possible thing over there. So let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got 6 possible spots, 7 possible spots that they could latch onto. I don't want these guys just wandering away, but I gotta put a pneumatic door on that side. Alright, so this is slowly filling up. Huh. I'm kind of surprised that that's doing a 50-50 split. I guess it's fine. It's going to make operating that slower. I wonder how that one got out. Oh, of course they remove the tiles at the end of the day. So part of my slug farm dream is to I'll have to build a plate here. I think this is coming along nicely. We'll have some more plug slugs in there in no time. Alright. And I don't even know if I need these heavy watt wires over here anymore. I may need them, but it's probably going to be pretty hot down there, but I think the guys can handle it. Alright, so one thing that I do want to do is make sure that this does not like weirdly overfill. So I am going to put a sensor in here. So that this tank does not get overfilled with liquid. I am going to put that temperature sensor in here because one of the mechanisms I need is I need to know what temperature is in here just in case I need to cool it down more. So that's something that I might want to have an option for. In terms of how I'm planning on cooling this tank down, I'm sort of thinking of doing like a liquid cooling loop with it. This is really its own system. It's really just designed to um, keep these volcanoes cold. So, um, you know, I think I can probably manage the temperature. It's not a huge temperature demand on this tank, I don't think. So, I think I should be able to get by with doing sort of like a little bit of a cooling loop on it with an external piping system. So, how is that all going to work? That's a good question. We got to figure that one out. Again, my only real plan here is to just make it so that these slugs are happy. I don't necessarily want to do too much to shave away how the sink works. I like this cut off right where it is. I like how most of the carbon dioxide is directed into this chamber, so I'm not going to do too much else to this besides maybe add a door here. And then I'll have another spot to load my plug slugs. I'm trying to go green all the way here, if you haven't noticed this. But there's a reason for trying to take advantage of the natural resources that these little critters make. So I'm going to just try and do my best to make sure that I get what's coming to me in that respect. Alright, so got this stuff going. Those are priority 8, just like this. And I think I'll set it to maybe 8, see how we do with 8. You know, we've got a glossy Drecklet egg in here. And I'm trying to think, you know, do I really need more glossy Dreckos? I'm not doing a great job with this project over here. So maybe I should just go ahead and remove that egg and start doing slug eggs. And now might be the time where I actually want to add a third incubator so I can also do slug eggs. And I want the automation to work the exact same way. And we're gonna make even more plug slugs in there. And we're gonna have a load of plug slugs. Just a huge load of them. Alright, so this is nice. This is set up for plug slug activity. Meanwhile, I gotta start thinking hard. How am I gonna solve my heat problems? So the first thing that I'm thinking is that I'm gonna maybe use this portion of the base right here to build this structure that I think will help me resolve my heat problems. So, I have this like weird hydrogen sink that I want to sort of keep in place if I can. So, I'll probably carve around it initially. And so now that I've kind of carved around it, I should be able to sort of box it in. Yeah, I should just get rid of this thing. Maybe I can, oh no, the hydrogen, I need the hydrogen over there. So, ugh, but I do need this hydrogen to charge up these systems, so this is actually fine. I can leave this in here for now, and I'll get rid of it when I'm done doing this hydrogen stuff. it's going to take me a while to build this thing up anyways. So, I think I am going to take down this temperature barrier. And I will put the temperature barrier back up over on this side. Yeah, this is kind of the boonies. I don't think I'm going to be putting fire poles in, but I might put a fire pole up here, possibly, right? So, you know, I'll keep that in mind, and maybe even put it into place. Let's see here. Cobalt. Great. Go, Ellie, go! She's like a warrior over here, chopping this thing apart. Oh, that little guy got out again somehow. Lots of little sluggies. It's great. Huh. Okay. So, checking my temperatures. I am back up to pretty dang hot over here. So we are going to need to use a little bit of cunning to deal with these challenges that we have. So I may, you know, start redirecting some water from maybe down here over into this area here, just to kind of get some additional coolant in these systems so that we don't have any real issues with that. This is the one that's most accessible. I'd have to cut into this one, so I'm going to go over here and maybe over here next if I need more. But I think I'm going to start by draining this little pond here. There's some pacus in here, and maybe I could even... I've sort of toyed around with the idea of making an artificial pond. Even in this zone here, I left some algae, so maybe I'll put that pacu egg in here and let that pacu live in this water. So let's see if I can make good on that little promise. Oh, my tanks are nearly empty. So we'll go ahead and start pumping up the natural gas. Uh-oh. Trying to figure out if this is going to cause any damage to anything. I don't think it might get this. Yeah, it might cause that. It depends on how much of the water goes where. Unfortunately, we stranded our friend. I don't understand why they weren't able to cut across that way and get out. Maybe they can't cut those tiles? It's dumb. Okay, well. Let's make it happen, people. Oh gosh, she's really just up a creek here, isn't she? Let's see, did we get the germs in there? Nope, looks like we're okay. Really? Come on guys, help her out. There we go. Poor thing. Gosh. We're doing good. Got our little sluggy in here. And now it might be a good idea to think about expanding battery capacity. So I've been noticing that we are losing a lot of power. So it's time to increase our battery capacity a little bit in the base. So I'm going to go ahead and build a few more smart batteries to manage that power overflow. Not sure where I'm going to place them, but I might even just knock this all out a bit. At this point, I'm kind of taking control over the temperatures anyways, or soon will be. So that might be a little premature, but it would be, sure would be great to have a load of batteries in here to help keep this system working properly. So let's go with that. We're gonna have to rebuild this. It's just plain old heavy wire, I think. Okay, we're gotta work fast on this little quick switch, quick hot swap or whatever. There we go. Good as new. And I'm really gonna go for it here. All right, let's get that pump up and running. Getting on that fry egg to be delivered. Alright, so we're gonna build our pump down here. Go ahead and just plug it right in. And we're gonna have this empty. Yeah, I may have a little bit of a difficulty getting over to this reservoir here. So I may want to just tunnel in here. Not too terribly, but just a little tiny bit. Yeah, I think that'll work for me. This stuff cut up. Oh gosh, of course the little plug slug gets away. Oh, now he's confined. There we go. Get that little dummy. care of the rest. They should... Oh gosh, these guys are stuck now? Come on! Okay. Oh, for God's sakes. Just build it, guys. Alright, great. A little bit of drama harvesting out that, or hollowing out that little area, but... Yipes. Alright. So, one thing about this structure is that I'm really going to try and do a great job building this thing right. So, first thing I'm going to try and do is think about how I want this, system to really work well. I am going to be building a, steam turbine to do this. Again, the ladder is kind of totally negotiable, so I'm going to try and think this one through very well before fully executing anything. Alright, so let's up the priority on this project down here so we can finally get a little bit of action on this. Alright, so, I think the plan will be to move our pipe through the system here. And then good. Oof. It's that bad at this point. So we'll go ahead and make a little bit of gold. I think this will produce less heat than some of the other operations we've been doing, so it should be okay. Right, so we'll probably just drop the cooler liquid over here. I think that's for the best. Okay, so I think we've got this thing all plumbed up. Gotta let the dupes do the rest. again, the intention here is to completely drain this pool out and move it into this area here. Okay, and oh, there's one section of pipe that hasn't been completed yet, holding the whole thing up. So I guess this slug plug is trapped forever or something, I don't know. The problems you have with slug plugs. Alright, so we're getting it moved over. That should help a little bit with my issues. We've carved out this space here, so let's go ahead and start getting smart about our batteries. So, yeah, just building a little bit of smart battery capacity on our network. Just a small amount. Alright. I think this will really do it for us, so hopefully this will be a success. See how we do on this next cycle here. Alright, so we're right on the money there. And we'll be even more on the money with a much bigger battery network. Alright, okay, so we are below. Okay, so this is what we want. There's a little bit of gas trapped in here, but no biggie. Okay, so now that we've got that filled up, we might even just go ahead and just say above or up below. Send green if below 250, maybe it's what I'll do. And that'll close the vent. Okay, great. So, that will reduce the demand on this coolant down here, which is great. Yeah, I do need to design this better. This isn't working the way I'd like. hopefully we'll see these little plug slugs get see some population increase very soon. Um, still got a lot of eggs, so that'll be good. Oh, that's right. I should have been continuing on with my water weed farm this whole time. I think this thing would have been done by now if I had been paying attention to it, so let's let those little guys do their work. Alright, so, now that this is pretty much full of water, and just let the air out real fast. I wonder when it'll eventually push this carbon dioxide up and out. I'll have to increase the pressure a little bit, so I'll adjust this to 500 kilograms. Alright, so I guess I kind of have to clear the terrain a little bit for this. So this is going to be the entrance to the top of this steam turbine. So I'm probably going to put a just a little bit of an entrance here, and we're going to just try and frame this thing out as best we can. So there's going to be a bunch of insulated tiles that we need. I guess I probably should move those up a level. Oh no, one of our plug slugs is starving to death. Wonder why that is. Maybe it's because it's a tame one. That's a lot of copper. Yeah, it's too bad it's really, really hot in there. It's kind of dangerous. So I don't know how much tweaking I can do to adjust how this is gonna happen. Alright, so the steam turbine is going to be built right here on this rail. And then underneath it, I'm going to have a steel aqua tuner in a chamber filled with water. So it's going to be that type of a setup. It is going to be, I'm going to try to make it into a steam power plant, very similar to the one that I was building down here. But the reason why I'm building it up here is so that it has better access to the base. This area down here, with all these volcanoes and all the things I'm going to need to do down there, not a good idea to build my central cooler down here where I'm going to have so much activity with stuff. So I figured I'll relocate it someplace else and build it out in a more out of the way location. So I'm selecting this part of the base for that. So with that said, let's start putting it together. Always challenged by these ladders. Okay, so one thing that I'm going to need is access down into the chamber of where the steam or whatever is going to be condensing. For a variety of reasons, we're going to need to get our guys in there from time to time. So I will be putting in a checkpoint for the dupes because I'm not going to be able to mess around too much. I'm going to definitely need them to be able to get in there, and I'm going to need probably 2 atmospheric suits. So I can get at least 2 guys going in there at a time. We're going to have 3 mechanized airlocks down into the tank. And then we're going to go down 2 tiles. Yeah, that feels about right. So this is a little generous for the amount of space that I need. So I may even try and adjust this a little bit. So the steam turbine. So maybe I'll have a. So maybe I'll have like a little. Gap here. Now I'm starting to feel like I have a good idea here. So, alright. So we'll put in a heavy watt wire to power up our aqua tuner. It's a good idea. And we'll get the power into the chamber in such a way that there'll be a vacuum seal. so that there won't be an issue. With heat leaking out. So I think this is it probably might still fit with this layout right here. And with that in mind, I do need to go one layer of tile lower. So I'm going to set that now. Um, okay, so we'll put the turbine there. Okay, so there'll be a steel aqua tuner in here, and here's where things are going to get a little dicey. Do I have enough steel? Almost. So I need to make just a little bit more steel so I can build this steel aqua tuner. Because the steel aqua tuner is going to be how I'm going to be able to make the right kind of steam to make all this work. So we got to make sure that we build that thing in here and that this is going to be the perfect size possible. So I'm going to go ahead and get this really dialed in. I want this to really be an efficient system, or not efficient, but at least work as good as I can possibly make it. So yeah, this is what we gotta do. Gotta do it slow, make it right. Alright, we got some new loot. Nothing really tickling my fancy there. Go ahead and print. Yeah, the pips are my farmers. As you can see, we have been making significant progress on this water weed farm system that I've built. And, you know, you'll notice my calories are quite comfortable. I've got some good stuff on the menu at my place, so good for me, right? Got some food. Mushroom wrap. Why would mushroom wrap be rotting? I don't understand. Sterile atmosphere, 0% cycle, refrigerated, negative 0.6%. Does this stuff go bad if it's like, or I guess I have to like deep freeze it to get it to like never rot? Something. I'm gonna fix this feeder. For once and for all, I'm gonna fix this feeder. I mean, at least this system is working properly, right? Although this is starting to get... No, it's not that hot anymore. It's weird. These guys are starving. Like, how do you make it so that these things run? I'd have to have maybe pumps pulling the air out of the chamber here. Then where do I pump the air to, you know? Like, frustration. So in terms of lost power, no slug plugs were lost. Lost a little bit of smart battery power and a little bit of jumbo battery power. And those jumbo batteries, I just gotta disconnect them from the system. They're not as efficient as these up here. Um, the pain is always how do you drain them completely so that you don't feel bad about deconstructing them with all that power inside of them. I don't know. Don't have the answer to that one. That's a tough one. Alright, so let's go ahead and do maybe a couple steel if we have the ingredients for it. I think we have enough for that, yeah. Kind of boost, put the priority boost on these. Trying to figure out why these batteries don't get half charged. It's like I'm missing something with the power system. These batteries aren't... They're connected in like the exact same way. Huh. It's a little weird. Alright, so we're getting there with this little side project over here. I'm optimistic that this number of doors will allow for me to vacuum press this, but I'm actually going to go ahead and just hedge my bets and put a fourth one in, just in case. So when I vacuum seal this thing, I want it to work. Alright, so I'm gonna need a vent in here, not a vent, a gas pump in here, and we'll just pump out all the gas. No biggie. Meanwhile, I do need to get some oxygen pumped into these two receptacles, so let's go ahead and do that. It's nice to see that those batteries get a nice big charge. Yeah, and now we're at the point where we've backed up our ethanol system also. So this ethanol in here needs to go someplace. Really surprised I wasn't able to get rid of that carbon dioxide pocket. I thought for sure it would just like pop out, but it never did. How weird. So yeah, we're almost done over here. This pocket of water. So alright. I'm going to have to think about this a little bit more as we're building towards this thermal aqua tuner on how to mitigate some of these issues. Obviously, we've got our refinery back online and have enough materials now to actually put in a steel aqua tuner and do like a basic steam generation setup for heat deletion. But once this thing gets built, no biggie, we'll get it all figured out. It'll all work out in the end. It's just a matter of building it right. And I think we've got a nice framework here for your basic steam turbine heat delete setup. So, we'll keep plugging away at it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with these 3 tons of 808, 800, 800, 800, 800, 886. I can't believe I can't say that out loud. 886 degrees hot. Yowza! Super hot. No idea what I'm going to do with that. I should probably drop it in a pool somewhere, like up in here. I don't. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I guess I could take advantage of that somehow. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll hope you have a great day, and we'll be seeing you. Just gonna get one more water weed figured out for next time. All right, bye.